Hey everybody, it's time for a thought of the day video. Man, it's probably been a few months, a couple months since I did the video for the BEMA request line, promising that I'd have a new series up and some ideas flowing. And I got some great feedback and I got some great ideas. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm really trying to work on how all of these ideas kind of come into become something. How do they coalesce? I've got a series I need to do for session 10 of the podcast. I want to put some YouTube content together. So what I'm doing, there's a stream of consciousness that has not, a loop that has not completed yet. I want to make sure I take my time and do that well. So I have planned out the rest of my videos for this year. And we're not going to start a new YouTube series for the rest of this calendar year. Probably, hopefully, maybe sometime around January with the new year, we'll start a new series and we'll see what happens with that. But what that means is that today I'm going to grab another one of our Instagram archive videos to be the inspiration for our thought of the day. And a lot of you, not a lot of you, there was a few of you that said, actually, I really enjoy when you go into the Instagram archives. I've thought those videos and sharing some of those reels has been really helpful. So I have a reel that I want to share today. It's from somebody that I met years ago, and she was a BEMA listener. This was before BEMA was a big deal. This was before we had so many people listening to the podcast. She was one of the OG listeners, and we connected on Instagram, sharing resources. She did a lot of content for moms and sports and sport moms, and we just had a lot of just crossover and things that we appreciated. I got a chance to meet her. Her name is Melissa. Melissa Smith, if I remember correctly. She's in Indiana. They're big IU people, Indiana University. Her husband works there. And just got to meet her, spend some time there, got a tour some of the facilities at IU with them years ago. And just have really enjoyed listening to her stuff as it comes across my feed here or there. She did a video a long time ago. It was February 2023. And she talked about what it's like to be a mom or a parent of an athlete. And how do we talk to our kids about their sports? And what do we do after a game? And I really liked that because I don't do well in that space. I don't do well trying to balance this interaction that I grew up with. I grew up as an athlete in a world that was driven by values and performance in a way that doesn't work with what we study in BEMA. If you're familiar with BEMA, we're big on Sabbath. We're big on a different set of values that run counter to you've got to dominate your opponent, you got to be the best, you got to blah, 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 perform. And it's not that they're mutually exclusive. That's why I struggle with it. There were things that I loved about growing up in sports. I learned how to work hard. I learned how to be a part of a team. I learned how to lose. I learned how to persevere. I learned how to practice and how to put in the work and lift the weights and do the things. I learned how to put up with good leaders and bad leaders. I, to this day, love the things that I learned from my days as an athlete and sports. But I was a particular kind of person in that space 30 years ago, right? And so then I don't know how to relate to that space anymore as my kids are in that space, particularly my son. My daughter is far more into the performing arts. Also something that I did, but again, that was driven by a different set of values. My son, all through middle school, played football, basketball. He's not playing football anymore. In fact, let's see if we can go in here. He's probably going to hate me for this. I'm going to go into his room. It's dark like a dungeon. This is the room of a middle school. Well, kid's a freshman in high school this year. Can you believe that? I can't. Here he is. He'll probably hate me for showing you that poster. But he's still got it hanging on his wall. I struggled with figuring out what do I do with my son in these spaces, because there was a part of me that was like, I like to be coached, pushed, challenged, was competitor. I wanted to be a champion. And the coaches that I enjoyed were the coaches that like busted my chops and really let me have it. And I'm not around a lot. Like a lot of you guys know, I travel a lot, so I don't make every single game. I'm not here. I can't help coach. And so what does it mean? So I deal with like the guilt and the insecurity and the all the stuff, and how do I parent my kids well, and how do I push them and teach them to persevere and to not be a quitter and to know how to lose? Like, how do I give them all the things that I valued to this day without killing their spirit or having it be like not the stuff of the kingdom? It's so weird. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense. It's a world where there is overlap, but I have a hard time sometimes fitting it together. So, Melissa shared a video back in February of 2023 where she said, here are 5 words that have changed my relationship. For her, it was with her daughter after she gets to watch a game or a match. And she says, these 5 words are what I say. I love watching you play. And she said, that's the message. It's not even the exact words. It's the message you're communicating to your kids. And part of what Melissa was saying was, it's been helpful to get out of her headspace where there's a bunch of coaching, there's a bunch of correcting, there's a bunch of analyzing, evaluating. How'd you do? Could have done this better. And she said, there's a time for that. Largely, it's the job and role of the coaches to do that. But there's even a time for you to do that and work with your kids. My son's getting into golf this year. He stopped playing football, too many concussions. So he started playing golf this year. I love golf. Been golfing since high school. There's a time for us to go out and work on our swing and do all that kind of stuff. But there's also a time and a space where, especially as a parent, the message gets to be, I see you and I love seeing you, and my joy isn't connected to your success, your athletic success. My joy isn't connected to the win or the loss. My joy, sorry, I'm like moving the camera around. My joy isn't connected to your performance. My joy is connected to you. And I haven't necessarily used those exact 5 words all that well since I watched Melissa's video, but the spirit of what she taught me that day has gone with me quite a bit. The message and the spirit of that has helped shape the encounters that I've had with my children, particularly my son. When you get in the car after the basketball game where they just got crushed by 25 points and it was pretty ugly, and there's a big part of Coach Marty that wants to be like, well, if you blah, 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 blah. And I used to do that, and I feel like I probably do that maybe less these days. Maybe I'm growing. And that growing Marty is a part of what I learned from to be coachable, to be somebody who develops, to be somebody who gets better. And so that same thing I learned as an athlete is part of what is helping me even in this train of thought as a parent. But if that's helpful, I'll put a link to that reel. It's still up as I record this today. So I'll put a link in that reel from Melissa on Instagram so you can watch it for yourself. It's a short little video, but want to give her all the credit for teaching me a little phrase that's been helpful. If it's helpful for you, and it might be something else. It might not be about your kids and sports. Maybe this translates into other spaces too. Maybe this is a seed that sprouts and bears all kinds of different fruit outside of the immediate content we're talking about here. But I'll share that video and maybe it'll be useful for you. But a great thought of the day spark for me. So I'm glad to share that with you. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll see you in our next video, whatever that might be. I think we might be sharing some resources next. We'll talk to you then.